Nemo Radio is on the air.
A, B, C. A, always, B, B, C, closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Here's what I want to talk about today. I'm going to share a couple of training videos and notes, kind of cheat sheets from my content marketing machine course, which some of you may know about, some of you have, some of you don't have. I'll explain how to get the full course at the end of the webinar today. But I wanted to pull out two videos today that I think are really timely. And this is really about when you want to create content that engages and attracts people and gets them wanting to buy from you. And two of the components that really go into creating that type of successful client attracting content, one is really putting passion into your content, passion and fire and energy. And one is really making sure your content inspires people, because without inspiration, people aren't going to take action. So first thing I want to do is pull up the training video on passion. I'm putting passion into your content. I'm also going to put a download somewhere in the notes in the chat area. You can download the notes from this video. And again, these videos are getting pulled out of my content marketing machine course. I'll explain how you can get the whole course at the end, a special offer, all that good stuff. But for now, let's dive into the training. I want to start with this first training video and notes on putting passion into your content. So let's do this. Okay, welcome to this video. I am really excited. We're going to be talking about passion and enthusiasm and really getting you fired up to do great things. I'm just kidding, right? That's ridiculous. Wow. Okay, so can you see the difference when my voice changes from kind of that dull, bland, Charlie Brown's teacher type thing, wah, 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 to passion, to enthusiasm, right? To being excited. This is such a critical element of creating amazing content, of creating content that people will respond to. And in fact, when you can bring in enthusiasm and passion to the content you create and when you deliver it, I will tell you right now, that is the number one way to really sell more of anything using content, is having passion, having enthusiasm in your delivery. You've got to do this. I hear this again and again and again in my own business for the past 5, 6, 7 years. The number one reason people purchase my products and trainings or sign me up to work with them as a coach, or when I was doing a marketing agency, was they said, man, your passion is contagious. Your enthusiasm is contagious, right? When you are passionate about what you do, when you are enthusiastic and excited about the potential and working with someone, or teaching someone an idea, or sharing a piece of content, or demonstrating a method, when you have that enthusiasm and passion, yes, it's contagious. This is the big thing behind this. As we work through the six-pack and the different types of content that people go bananas for, passion and enthusiasm is so important because it makes people feel something. When people feel something, when they get emotional, that's when they engage, and that's when they buy your products and services, okay? Like, there is no way around this. People buy when they are emotional. And the number one way to really get people emotional and excited and engaged is to have passion, is to have enthusiasm. It is contagious. People feel something when you are performing that way, when you are bringing your passion and enthusiasm out in your content. And it really makes sense if you think about it, because of course, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, if you're not enthusiastic about the idea you're sharing, the content you're creating, the method you're demonstrating, why would your audience be? Why would they get excited? And this is important, and I want to make this clear. I don't want you to fake it. I don't want you to have fake enthusiasm or fake passion. And if your personality is not one where you're very gregarious and loud and wild like I am, that's fine. You can still be passionate even if you're, a more toned down personality when you present. Because again, people will respond to passion and enthusiasm at any type of level, at any type of personality. You don't have to fake it. You just have to really be into what you're doing. People will see that. They'll see, wow, this person really believes in what they're sharing with me. This person is really excited and enthusiastic about what they're telling me. There must be something to this. And that's another big reason why passion and enthusiasm are so effective. Passion inspires. Enthusiasm ignites people. They really begin to believe, wow, I can do this too, because they're feeling you, right? They're feeling what you're saying, and they're going, man, I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I'm ready to take action. That is why bringing passion and enthusiasm in your content and conveying it is so important. It helps people believe. It helps them feel like, yes, I can do this. There's a reason you have a whole industry called motivational speakers, right? Like they make people feel something, they motivate, and you want your content doing the same thing. Another big benefit of bringing passion and enthusiasm out in your content is confidence. People are going to trust you and believe you when you're passionate and enthusiastic. It's just a natural reaction we have. Wow, if this person is so excited about what they're telling me and they're so enthusiastic and they're so passionate about how this works and how it will help me get what I want, how can it not work, right? They seem so confident. That's a big thing, right? If you come across when you're presenting as kind of unsure or kind of blah or kind of bland, that does not inspire confidence. Whereas if you're enthusiastic, if you're like, I can't believe everyone doesn't know about this. I can't believe you're not utilizing this in your business. I can't believe people aren't following these tips to get these results. Like, I want this for you. I want you to be able to achieve this. This is so awesome. People trust you. They assume because you're so confident and you're so excited that your strategy must work, that your system must work. And that is helping them move from, being uncertain and unsure to, yes, I trust this person because of their passion and enthusiasm. I'm going to give them a shot. I'm going to buy their product or service or whatever it is. There's no substitute for confidence. That's how people get ahead in life, right? They are confident, they are passionate, they are enthusiastic. They know and believe in what they're saying and sharing. And people see that and they respond to that at a gut level, at a heart level. And again, the way to the wallet is through the heart. You've got to make people feel something with your content. And this is a type of content with passion, enthusiasm, where people will feel something. They will respond to you. So how do you bring passion out? How do you get enthusiasm into your content? So the best type of content to convey passion, to convey enthusiasm is what we're doing right now, audio and video. Those are the best and easiest types of content to really get that across. Because again, if with video people can see you, they can respond to your body language, they can respond to your emotions, your face, your eyes, right? Everything. And audio, obviously, your voice, they can hear it in your voice, right? The enthusiasm is contagious. It's coming through in the tone of your voice, in the excitement level. And, people, those are just biological things people respond to. Their brains are picking up on that. That's not to say that you can't convey passion in the written word through blogs or books or things like that. You certainly can. Words are still very powerful. But again, the higher level, the best way to convey passion and enthusiasm is audio and video content. Written word can still work. Word choices, powerful words, things like that can still be inspiring. I definitely utilize it all the time in emails and blog posts and books. Passionate, enthusiastic language. I believe in you. This is amazing. Things like that. Also, you can utilize images. Passionate images, something that will really visually strike a person and go, wow, yes, I believe I can do this. Let's go, right? So if we're walking through how to actually integrate passion and enthusiasm into the content you create, let's do that right now. If you're on camera and people are looking at you, you want to be enthusiastic, right? You want to be confident and smiling and excited and animated. That's another big word, is being animated with your delivery. So here's an example starring yours truly, okay? This is back from around 2012. I was doing public relations and social media for the Minnesota Nurses Association. They were a union, and the nurses were going on strike. One of the big issues was patient safety. And so, of course, like any situation involving PR, I was going on TV to really state the position of the nurses, to talk, with passion, with animation, with enthusiasm about our message, our content, what really mattered. And it was very, very effective. In fact, the news stations even turned it into a little bit of a story analyzing the messaging and the strategies about the strike.
He says John Nemo, the nurse's spokesman, was especially effective on our Sunday morning show, just talking about first-person accounts.
Sitting in their own excrement, bleeding out, falling down.
That's pretty effective. That's pretty stunning. It's shocking, and it moves the listener, the general public. Any of us would understand that.
Jaley says the hospitals have been talking about money. On the other side, the nurses are focusing on patient care, which is more emotional and more likely to pull in the public.
And that last thing right there is the key. Emotional, pulling in the public, making people feel something with your content. So when you are on camera, whether you're doing media interviews or more likely just doing, your own YouTube videos, marketing videos, sales videos, whatever it is, being animated really matters, right? Being sincere, being, impassioned, using gestures, smiling, talking, depending on what it is. In that case, of course, I was talking about a serious topic, so I wasn't laughing and joking. I was talking about patients suffering because there weren't enough nurses staffing the floors. So, of course, I was much more stern and strong with my emotion and my tone. And, like that law professor said, that gets you emotional. You go, wow, I can't believe that. You're telling a powerful story with the way that you deliver this content on camera. And there's another element that's really important to remember and realize. It is a performance. Content marketing is often a performance. We talked about that earlier, infotainment. So with video, when you're presenting on camera or you're speaking to an audience live, whatever it might be on. Have a strong sense of body language and confidence. Be animated. Smile. Open your eyes. All those different things really play a role. When you're bringing passion and enthusiasm into audio content, so maybe podcasts or audiobooks or things like that, it's really all about the tone of your voice. It's really all about understanding volume and tone with your delivery. So again, I started the video just kind of talking quietly and kind of, just kind of my normal voice. And I don't really want to wake anybody up and blah, blah, blah. And, see how I just changed my voice right there? You get really passionate. People can get lulled to sleep if you're just using a monotone vocal delivery. Think about great audio presenters. I think of someone like Tony Robbins, and I'm laughing because people either love him or hate him, but they remember him. If you listen to Tony Robbins speak, if you listen to his audio programs, he is a master at, delivering passion and enthusiasm with his voice, right? He rises and he falls. Or if you think about great preachers, right? Go to the pulpit right now. Great pastors, great preachers have an ability with their voice to rise, to fall, to increase the volume, right? To decrease it when it's something very intimate, to increase it when they really want to get your attention and get you excited. And that's how this works, is really utilizing your voice like an instrument. Really understanding there are times to increase your volume. There are times to increase the energy of your voice when you really want people to get excited and enthusiastic and responding to you. Also, images can play an enormous role in having enthusiasm and passion with your content. There's something powerful. We as human beings are wired to be visual creatures. We are wired to respond to what comes in through our eyes. That's why visceral, powerful images will make us feel such strong, deep emotions. So when you're creating a blog post, when you're using a platform where you share photos on social media like Instagram or Facebook or any of the million, photo sharing type of platforms, use powerful images. Use visceral images that are gonna get a response from people. Don't use bland, boring photography. Use something that's powerful. There's a whole reason that for thousands of years, people have responded to art. People have responded to visuals. Utilize that. Tap into that when you're creating products, when you're creating services, when you're designing content, websites, blog posts, whatever it is. Use those visuals. It can be imagery. It can be colors. It can be, certain colors are going to make people feel certain ways. And I don't want to go too far into the weeds with this and get you, nerded out on what shade of blue or red or orange to use, but just to know that colors matter. Like, there are things that will get people feeling enthusiastic and passionate. When it comes to writing, this is a big one because I think so many people don't invoke and inject emotion with their written content. And this is something you've got to do to really be successful. There's no way around it. One of the best things, and I'm going to link to some examples of content I've created that really is meant to inspire and get people enthusiastic. I will link to some of those posts. And when you're using the written word, when you're using blogs or social media updates or, quotes or anything you're writing and sharing online, emails, think of words you can use that are going to fire people up. Think of words that are going to invoke passion and enthusiasm. Tell great stories. That's honestly one of the best and easiest ways to get enthusiasm and passion is tell an inspiring story. Tell me a story. Show me a story of someone who's overcome something amazing, and then tell me that I can do it too. If you think about that, if you think about how we respond to written content that gets us fired up, that gets us passionate, it's something about overcoming adversity, and it's something about inspiring belief in ourselves. And really, I'm going to show you some examples and share some examples here in the links of content that does that has you say, man, I can do this too. And words like, I believe in you, words like, this is possible, words like, the gatekeepers are gone, anyone can do this, right? You want people to feel something, not just delivering boring, bland facts, but you want to really invoke emotion. And the best way to do that is with powerful words and even better, powerful stories. Again, I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it more in the training. People respond to stories. Stories are how we encode and remember information. So the better your story is, the more inspiring and enthusiastic it is about whatever, obstacle or adversity was overcome, the happy ending, the person who achieved it. The more inspiring and engaging your story is, the more people are going to respond. Now, the last big thing I want to say about passion, and this is very important, you cannot script passion. I see it all the time, especially with audio and video content. People write out an entire script like a movie, and they try to read their lines. When you're concentrating and trying to remember, oh gosh, I've got to say these exact words, these exact phrases in this order, you can't be passionate. Your brain is too tied up in focusing on getting it right versus getting it passionate, getting it enthusiastic. So don't script. When you're recording audio content, when you're making video content in particular, don't try to memorize lines and say them verbatim. Don't read a script. Instead, go off the cuff. Just have a few points written out, which is fine. I want to talk about this. I want to explain this topic. I want to explain these tips or whatever it is. And then just talk, just riff, just be passionate. If it helps, visualize your ideal client or customer sitting there next to you and that you would just talk to them one-on-one. What would you tell them? What would you say to them? How would you get them motivated and fired up? What would be the words and phrases, right? Then just let it flow. The beautiful thing about content marketing right now, unless you're doing it live, right? And that's fine. And we can talk about that later, live video, live audio, but you can edit, right? Like you can edit your audio, you can edit your video recording. Just go for it. Be passionate, fire yourself up, go off script, tell stories, try different things, and then you can edit it and bring it together into, one great take. And really speaking to someone as an individual. That's a big thing with creating content, is not saying like, okay, people, okay, guys, okay, everyone, but you. Use it a single person. I want you to do this. I believe in you. I know you can do this too. Because remember, you're still talking to someone one-on-one on the other end of the computer, the other end of the, earbuds when they're listening to your podcast, the other end of the video when they're watching you on YouTube. It's one person. So you want to really speak to them as you, and you want to inspire belief. What everyone needs, what we all want, is someone to believe in us, someone to have passion, someone to look at us and go, I believe in you. I'm passionate about what I think you can accomplish. I'm enthusiastic about where you're going to take this. I always do that when I'm talking to students or prospects and say, I can't wait to see what you do with this, what you do with these tips. I'm so excited for you. Man, I'm fired up to see how you take these LinkedIn lead generation tips and grow your business. People want you to believe in them because that inspires confidence in them. They need you to inspire them. They're going to feel something. And when they feel something, then they engage. And when they engage, then they buy. Okay? So take this and run with it. So when you convey enthusiasm and passion and confidence to those people, when you almost, inject it into them like a drug, like a serum, right? Like a shot, they will feel it. They will engage with it. They will know you. They will like you. They will trust you. They will want to buy from you. So please bring some passion. All right. Bring some enthusiasm, get after it. And I'll see you in the next video.
All right. So people are digging this. There's a lot of good comments coming in. One of the key things with how do you get legitimate passion in, again, to Gary's point, like don't script it all out and try to read it word for word. The other big thing I want to say, and I've been having discussions in the chat here with Joanna and Gary and others, but if you know your material cold, if you know it really well in your gut, you can riff. And that's the other thing is it's much easier to riff and kind of get passionate when you already have that kind of fountain of knowledge in you. And that's a key element of this. So all that said, are you guys digging this? Okay. Do you want more? Do you want to know more of this content tips? Because I've got one more video I want to share here today, pulled and cold from Content Marketing Machine. And basically, this is about how to really inspire people, how to make them feel something, how to really get them motivated to take action. And that's where the rubber meets the road with creating content that's actually going to convert people into paying customers. All right, people are saying, bring it on. Mark, Gary, all right, Joanna, love it. Juliet, good question. Do I create my own posts or hire people to do it for me? I typically create all my own content, but I've also outsourced it. It just depends. You can find good copywriters. I do this for my Done For You clients. I create content for them in their voice. And it's really the best kind of copywriters that I've run into, and I'm biased, of course, but are former journalists, because we really can understand your story, how to tell it, how to capture the essence of who you are. And then there's lots of ways that you can do this. Just as an example, if, for example, you wanted to create a good written piece of content with passion, record yourself, doing a video. So Loom, LOOM.com, you can do free screen recording videos and then get it transcribed. And you can see the words come out and the passion come out. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. All right, but I want to keep going. People are saying, bring it on. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now I want to pull another video from Content Marketing Machine. Again, this is an online course that you're seeing videos from today that really just is my entire blueprint, my entire playbook for how to create and deploy and leverage content online through webinars, blogs, podcasts, video, audio, how to do all this and automate it all so that you can sell your products and services, get people to know, like, and trust you, all of those key elements. So without further ado, let's dive into putting inspiration into your content. And this comes from part of the online course, Content Marketing Machine, where I'm talking about what I call the 6-pack, 6 key components of really powerful client attracting content. So let's dive in with the final part of the 6-pack, putting inspiration into your content. Let's do it.
So as we finish up the six-pack, as we move through this list and finish it up with inspiration, I want you to really think about for a second what we've walked through, really understanding how important, as I stressed in the previous video, how important emotion is with any type of content. And then throughout this six-pack, we've gone through different styles, different feelings, different ways to inject different elements that are emotional, that are powerful. And this one, inspiration, is perhaps the most important and powerful of all. And here's why I think inspiration is such a critical component when you're putting together really good content that's going to convert people from, an audience member, a reader, a listener, into a paying customer. If you cannot inspire someone else, and specifically, if you cannot inspire someone through your content to believe in him or herself, you've got to inspire and instill confidence in your audience. And the reason is, if you don't do that, if you're not able to inspire people, they won't believe that your product or service can help them. And they stop. No matter how much sense it makes, again, going back to the previous video, emotion is so important in the purchasing decision. It doesn't matter about the facts and how you've laid out your plan and how easy it is and how great it is to implement or how it'll solve all these problems they have. If someone doesn't believe I can do it too, or if someone doesn't believe this is for me, this makes sense, I can handle this, I can do this. If they don't believe that, if they are not inspired to that type of conviction and passion, then you're going to fall flat. Your sales are going to fall flat. And this is something I've learned having done this for the last 6, 8, 10 years is you've really got to imbue and inject people with inspiration. Not only about a cause, not only about whatever it is, the lesson you're teaching, the strategy, the system, the idea, the piece of content itself is inspiring, but more importantly, you've got to light that fire within the person. You've got to strike that match and get them fired up. So now I'm going to show you a quick video that I put together for my book, Fired Up. Now, the whole idea behind this, the whole concept of it was to infuse this content with inspiration. Not only to inspire people to want to go read the book Fired Up and consume anything related with that, of course, that product that I was creating, but more importantly, notice throughout this video who I'm trying to inspire. It's the audience. And in what I'm trying to inspire in the person watching this, in you as you watch this. I'm trying to inspire you to believe in yourself. I'm trying to tap into your deep desires to say, I want more out of my life. I want to achieve more. I want to have a legacy. I want all these things. It's not about me. Notice the inspirational message of this video is about you as the viewer. And that's a great way to get into this module, to get into inspiration, to really understand what is going on here when we infuse our content with this type of inspiration.
Hey, Dad. I just about hit my 40-yard hit with my driver. Is that cool? Love you. Bye.
What if I told you that from the time you were a small child all the way through to today, there was something unique inside you, something that no other person on this planet possesses, something seen only to you when you look at yourself away from everyone else? Think of it almost as a fire, a spark, a passion, the very reason you were put on this earth to begin with. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us has our own story. We have our own hopes, our own dreams, our own visions of what we want to become in this life. But then something happens. It's as if there's this announcement or proclamation made over our lives. This is it. This is all you can be. This is all you can do. Someone once said, the opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice. It's conformity. Life has this way of wearing us down, day after day after day, doing jobs we're not passionate about, living a life that we felt like we weren't meant to be living, feeling trapped, wondering what our legacy will be, and we just can't take it anymore. It's time for something more. It's time for something better, for a new journey, a new way to really come alive as a person.
I'm going to tell you something scandalous. You can have it all. You can have the life that you want, doing work that you love, and most important, crafting a legacy that goes beyond spreadsheets or sales awards. It's all there for the taking. We live in a time of limitless opportunity. It takes courage to step away from what's familiar and to really step in to what you were meant to do. Mark Twain once said, "The two most important days in a person's life are the day that you're born and the day that you find out why." Time is not on our side. We don't get a second chance to start life over again. Today is the day. Today is the day that you decide you want something more from life. So let's begin. Let me start showing you how to get that life that you love, doing work that you're passionate about, and crafting a legacy that will far outlive anything you can ever imagine. And again, the idea here with that video, with infusing your content with inspirational messaging, is again to get your buyer to believe in himself or herself, to get that buyer thinking, I can do this. This is possible. I can do it too. Because honestly, deep down, that's what we all want. Ever since we were children, we've wanted someone to say, I believe in you. You can do it. You have what it takes. And that's the whole point of infusing your content with inspiration, is telling that person on the other end of the monitor, or listening to your voice or reading your content, you can do this. I believe in you. I know you have what it takes. Because when your content brings that type of inspiration and entwines it or weaves it together with your solution, your product, your service, your message, your strategy, your system, when you infuse inspiration into that solution, people can't help but want it, right? People want that result, and they get fired up and they think, you know what? This person believes in me. I believe it. I see how it can work. I can see myself doing it. I can visualize myself being successful. I'm in. Where do I sign up? So we've got to talk for a minute about mindset. Not only your mindset and what you believe, but more importantly, your audience. What frame of mind are they in? What is their mindset? What objections or hurdles in their mind do they have to overcome to really believe in your content, to believe in your solution, to believe in your product or service, that it will work for them? And this is scientific. This isn't something I'm just pulling out of thin air. You can read countless books on this. And one of my favorites is a goofy one from the 60s. The title is goofy, I should say, Psycho-Cybernetics. Now, I know, get past the title, but it's a fascinating book by a guy named Maxwell Maltz, who was a former plastic surgeon who used to fix people's exterior appearance. And he realized, even if I gave you a facelift and made you look great on the outside, people were still miserable in real life. And he really then got interested in what goes on internally. If you look great on the outside, why do you still have this negative self-image? And that really led him into studying this whole thing around mindset. And one of my favorite quotes from him is, he says, human beings always act and feel and we perform, keyword, in accordance with what we imagine to be true about ourselves and our environment. As I said in a previous video, you cannot outperform your self-image. You cannot get around that. And you've got to remember that when you're appealing to your audience through your content and bringing in inspiration. And this is where you're going to find a lot of good inspirational content, is in resources and books on that topic of mindset. Here's another one that I love to use when I'm really trying to get people fired up and believing. This is another quote from Psycho-Cybernetics. Look what he says. Do not tolerate for a minute the idea that you are prohibited from any achievement by the absence of inborn talent or ability. He says, this is a lie of the grandest order, an excuse of the saddest kind. What you want to do, and what I want you to believe as you're watching this too, is believe this. It's true. Like, we can achieve anything we put our minds to. We live in the greatest era in human history to do whatever it is we want to do for a living and be able to monetize our passions, to turn your passion into a paycheck, into a profit. That was the whole point of Fired Up and all the content in that book. And one last quote to really bring home the importance of inspiring people is understanding where most people are at as they're consuming your content. You know, when Maltz talks about this, and this is based on science and research, and this is from 60 years ago, right? I mean, people don't change. Humans don't change. He says, it's common knowledge among psychologists that most of us underrate ourselves, shortchange ourselves, sell ourselves short. He says there is no such thing as a superiority complex. Even in that case, these people who seem to have one are actually suffering from feelings of inferiority, right? They're acting superior as fiction, as a cover-up to hide themselves and others from their own deep down feelings of inferiority and insecurity. And those are two big words I want you to really understand and highlight and write down. Most people suffer from a sense of inferiority. It won't work for me. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. Or insecurity. How do I know this will work? What if I fail? What if I look dumb? What if it doesn't work? What if, right? They're paralyzed by fear. So your content, when you infuse inspiration into your content that is aimed at your audience, it needs to address their sense of inferiority and their sense of insecurity. When you can help people overcome those huge hurdles in their mind, a sense of feeling inferior or a sense of feeling insecure, oh man, you've got a friend for life. You've got a customer for life when you can help them walk through it. And so that moves us into how to actually do this. How do you actually bring in inspiration into your content? I have found for me personally, the fastest, easiest, and most effective way to really create inspirational content is to just be authentic and transparent about my own shortcomings. Just share my own shortfalls, obstacles overcome, lessons learned from my life. You've seen examples already from me talking about, overcoming childhood abuse and the impact that had on my mindset, right? That's authentic. That's transparent. And the reason I want you to do that, to utilize from your own experience, your own life, going through and sharing those vulnerable moments, those, moments where you failed and had to get up and had to try and overcome something. People trust you. People will trust you when you share your own shortcomings, when you share the obstacles that you've overcome, when you share the journey that you've been on, especially if you are the face of your brand, a coach, a consultant, an author, a speaker, a small business owner, especially if you're the face of the brand. Remember, people are buying you. They are buying who you are. They want to do business with someone they know, like, and trust. And being transparent and being authentic with your content that you share online is a huge advantage right now in the marketplace, because so many people are afraid of showing weakness in how they present online. Every Facebook photo is perfect, right? Everything is polished and arranged, and they never share anything bad, and everything is great, and they've always had success. And, the people sitting out there, again, with feelings of inferiority and insecurity, if they look at your content online, and it's always about how great things are and how you've always succeeded and you're never sharing any weakness or never sharing any struggles, that just feeds their sense of insecurity. That feeds their sense of inferiority. And they feel like, looking at you and looking at your content, I can't relate to that person. They're not going to be able to help me. They don't know what it's like. Whereas when you share from a place of, I once was bankrupt, or, I once was down and out, or, I once failed at this job and got fired, or I once had this thing happen that was embarrassing, and here's, the lesson I learned and how I overcame it, and, I wasn't always in this position I'm in now, successfully doing whatever it is. In fact, here's an example of coming up the hard way and learning these things. When people see that defeats their sense of inferiority and insecurity, because they think, well, wow, if you're that successful now and you're doing this and you're teaching me and training me, or your content or your system or your strategy is helping me do all these things, and you were once just like me, then maybe I can trust you. You understand the situation I'm in now, right? I'm in this place now. You used to be there. I want to get to where you are. That's the power of being authentic and transparent with your content, and that's how it naturally will bring inspiration into the fold. And what you'll find with almost every type of inspirational piece of content is a very familiar story or structure. It's an otherwise ordinary, everyday person, finding themselves down or, having a rough lot with life and overcoming some type of adversity, overcoming some obstacles to become a hero, to really achieve success, to accomplish the quest, right? To reach the mountaintop, whatever it might be. This is called the hero's journey. It's a very, very popular structure. It's behind some of the most famous blockbuster movies of all time: Star Wars, Matrix, Indiana Jones. You'll see it again and again and again. And rather than me trying to explain it to you, I found a great video online. It's here on Vimeo, and I'm going to give the guy tons of credit because it's an amazing video. I don't know how to say your name, dude. Is Candor. But this video is amazing. So I'm going to play it for you right now. I will link to it in the notes so you can watch it and bookmark it on Vimeo. But it's a fantastic, fantastic explanation of what the hero's journey is and how it works.
This is the Hollywood Guidebook for Heroes. You will learn the secret truth behind most blockbuster movies. They basically all follow the same 12 steps, also known as the hero's journey. Every hero's story starts off with some sort of nobody living in an ordinary world. But by following the White Rabbit, he will get the call to adventure. At first, he can't be too eager. He must refuse the call. Running away from his destiny, he will stumble upon a mysterious old guy who will turn out to be his mentor. Now he's ready to cross the threshold. Where he's going, he doesn't need roads. Of course, he will be tested, and he might need to win the game to gain new allies and enemies. He must overcome his fear by entering the inmost cave. Here, he will face his supreme ordeal, which will change his life forever. After defeating some bad guy, he'll receive his well-deserved reward. And because he can, he will be flying the road back. But before realizing there's no place like home, our apprentice must resurrect as a new person. Eventually, our hero will return to where he started, but things will never be the same again. This is what we call the hero's journey.
So you don't have to follow the hero's journey and include all 12 steps with every piece of content you utilize, but I want you to get the main themes, right? An ordinary person, which is you, hopefully, right? Because again, the best content is personal, sharing your own authentic, transparent hero's journey. Times you've struggled, times when you felt very ordinary, very inferior, very insecure. You had obstacles in your way. How did you overcome them? What were the lessons that you learned from those failures? Or even a very simple way to remember this is what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. Even if you can just format your content that way, what it was like, what happened, right, and all that encompasses, and what things are like now. That's a simple 3-step version of the hero's journey that you can utilize with any type of content. So as far as looking at some of the more practical ways to bring inspiration into the content you create with visual content, with video and imagery, one of the big things I really like is silhouettes, right? People, against a backdrop, people, with the sun or whatever it might be, people looking off into the distance, contemplating a conquest or climbing a mountain, right? That's another powerful visual that you see all the time on a journey, right? A trek, an adventure. Music obviously plays an enormous role with video and audio content. You're always moving people's hearts and minds with the music that you choose. Is it inspirational? Does it draw something out? Piano can be very effective for this. Drums can be very powerful. A certain beat that kind of builds. And again, you can get all this on stock video sites like Storyblocks, which I mentioned earlier. You'll find lots of free places to utilize audio and sound clips and music for your content. Also with audio, so for podcasts and audiobooks, again, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, but it's true, is your voice. Your voice is the instrument. The tone, the volume, rising and falling. You even noticed it in the Fired Up video I shared earlier. There were times where I got quiet and almost was whispering. And then there were times where I would build up and increase the volume at an appropriate time. So use your voice like an instrument to really inspire people. So with written content, I like to use powerful language, inspiring language that speaks directly to the other person. Again, speaking to you, speaking to one person at a time, not to everyone or guys or people or audience, but saying you. And using phrases like, I believe in you. You can do this too. You have what it takes. Those types of phrases that will get people emotional, that will get them inspired to say, wow, okay, John believes in me, right? The author believes in me. I'm reading this person saying, there's no reason you can't do it too. Well, then take that to heart. Run with that. That's the idea of these powerful phrases with your written content. So here's an example from a piece of written content, a blog post I wrote that was really infused with inspiration. And the headline isn't necessarily inspirational, right? Like why I got fired and why you might get fired too, right? And it's talking about workplace dynamics and workplace politics. But notice in this content, in this blog, how I'm following my own advice here, being transparent, being authentic with a time in life where I failed. I flat out failed. I got fired. I'm talking about this. I was fired. I had made a huge mistake. I did a stupid thing. I got fired over it. I didn't see it coming. I thought I was bulletproof. I thought performance would save me, right? And no, it didn't happen. I got fired. But the pivot point here, as you'll see, where I infuse some inspiration is not staying stuck on the failure part of my hero's journey. I don't stay stuck in, yes, I got fired at the height of the economic recession in the U.S. for sending an angry email. That was the gist of me being a knucklehead and getting fired, even though I was a top performer. What I said was, here's the lesson I learned, right? If I had read this book about workplace dynamics, I would have seen it coming. And then I'm trying to, inspire people. You've got to read this book, right? It will completely reframe how you approach your job, your career, and everything else related to your professional life. It could save your job, which needless to say is worth the price of the book. So I'm trying to inspire people. I'm trying to say, hey, take charge of your career. Don't leave it up to chance. So I pivoted off that same life lesson, off that same, failure lesson learned when I got fired from that job, and I created more content from it. And I talked about, the rest of the journey, how my dad's timeless advice got me a $15,000 raise. Notice with this written content, I start out with the hero's journey, with the struggle, right? My dad dying when I was very young, and then I pivot into, at the height of the U.S. economic recession, I got blindsided, fired from this safe, high-paying job, and then the hero's journey. So even if we look at that simple little three-part framework, what it was like was at the height of the recession, I got fired from the best and safest job I was ever had. That's what it was like. What happened was the change agent was I took my dad's advice. Here was the lesson, right? Here's the bulk of the content. What it's like now, right? Within 4 days, I had 2 new job offers, ended up getting a $15,000 raise. Like got to the place, had the heroic result. And as I do in this written content, I talk about you can do this too. I'm using these phrases throughout, this strong language to really understand that anyone can do this. And that's the point of inspiring your audience, is again, coming back to those two things. Address their own insecurity about themselves and whether or not they can achieve it, and address their own inferiority, that they think they're not smart enough or talented enough or good enough. Really help them understand, no, you can do this, right? Especially if they utilize you as a mentor, as a guide, as a sage, as an elder, as someone to hold their hand and bring them along. Great content makes the other person feel like you are in the trenches with them. You are right there with him or her alongside. You've been where they've been. You're not going to leave them up high and dry. You're not in some ivory tower, but rather you're down with them in the trenches, and you're going to walk them through with your content, your system, your strategy, your tips, your products, your services, whatever it is. You're going to bring them where they want to go. You can be Yoda, right? How good is that? You can be small and green and hop around. You can be Yoda and talk in really good phrases, right? This is the point. This is the point of all of it as we wrap up this module on inspiration is you've got to get people believing in themselves. Your role when you're creating this content is to inspire them, just like Yoda inspired Luke Skywalker to achieve the success that he had. He got Luke Skywalker to believe in himself, to really buy in, to really, go and fulfill his destiny. And when you can do that with your content, when you can, imbue and infuse and inject that same type of inspiration into your audience with your content, the sky's the limit because they're going to know you, like you, trust you, and they're going to want to follow you anywhere you go.
All right, I love it. I'm back. I just love Yoda. How can you not love Yoda? All right, so here's what I want to do before we run out of time. If you're finding this helpful, and if you would love to take what you're learning today and immediately implement this so that you could have a system where you could create this type of content. If you at all like the content that I create and share and what you're seeing today, I literally have boxed it up, packaged it up, and given you the exact blueprint, the templates, the words, the phrases, the tools, the tips. All of it is in Content Marketing Machine. This is my online course. This is the business in a box type version of John Nemo. And I'm going to put some links in right now to the special offer that I have today. So let me get that up. Let me pop up the offer for you. Content Marketing Machine. There it goes. Okay, boom. So I'm publishing that. And then I'll also open a new tab for everyone that should lead you to a special page. And then I'll turn on my screen share here on the webinar. So you can see, basically there's a couple options with Content Marketing Machine. Sorry, the British lady is going crazy now announcing the new visitors on my live chat software. But I wanted to show you very quickly what's inside Content Marketing Machine and how this works. It's really 3 sections. And you saw 2 videos today that are directly from the training. So that level of depth. You also were able to download the notes from those videos, so you can see the level of depth in the notes, the applications, the links. Really, it's got 3 simple sections. Section 1 is how to create the type of content that we're talking about that will attract people and get them wanting to do business. Part 2 is deploying it, all the automation, all the tools, all the ways to repurpose it. And then part 3 is really converting, literally how to sell people using content, sales funnels, word for word sales scripts. All of it's in there and it's for you. And again, let me go over just a little bit of Content Marketing Machine. It's 10 hours of video training. You get 50 plus different copy and paste scripts, templates, checklists. There's a 30-day risk-free money-back guarantee. It's all on demand. You can access it whenever you want. And then there's 2 options. You can sign up and do a payment plan, $197 a month times 12 months. So you get a whole year to pay for this. Or you can do a one-time payment of $19.97. Either way, if you just click the green Get Started Now button, that'll take you to a new page on Samcart, which is my checkout software. And then you can choose which payment option here, fill out your info, get signed up right away. Now, here's what I want to do. For anyone that is going to sign up today, I'm going to put a little more skin in the game. If you sign up for the payment plan option today, the $197 a month, I will do a couple of things. I will send you a signed copy of Fired Up. If you haven't purchased it already, I'm going to send you a signed copy of Fired Up. That's the book I sent the trailer, video trailer about in the last video. Made Juliet cry, which is awesome. I will send you a signed copy of that, and I will give you a 30-minute coaching session. So whether you want to talk through Fired Up and mindset, or whether you want to talk through content, LinkedIn, webinar, sales, whatever it is, 30 minutes of my time, one-on-one for free, and a signed copy of Fired Up. I will mail it to you. Once you sign up, I'll get your address and all that good info, personalize it, send it to you. If you do Content Marketing Machine and do the one-time payment, the $19.97, I will also send you Fired Up, a signed copy, a hard copy. I will give you an hour of one-on-one coaching, whatever you want to cover, mindset, content, help you create content on that call, whatever it is. But I really, really, really want to get you in because this is honestly what is needed right now. Doing business online winning clients. I've been doing this since 2012. I've been social distancing quite well, working from home. But what I've put into this online course, into Fired Up, is everything that you need. And again, whether you're like Dill and it's like, well, how do I do it for life insurance? I can show you that. Like there's templates, there's simple ways to do that no matter what industry you're in. And content is the currency. Content that you create is the currency that you use to really buy someone's time and interest and attention. And then once you deploy that content and create the automation and create the sales funnels, and I give you all those scripts, it's a very simple way to win business and to scale yourself. And you can see here on the sales page a whole rundown of everything we're going to cover. And again, for anyone that signs up today, if you do the payment plan, you're getting a free signed copy of Fired Up, half an hour of one-on-one help with me. If you do the full payment plan, the $19.97, you get the signed book and an hour of my one-on-one consulting time for free. So all that said, I would love to make sure that we have time for questions. Lily wants Fired Up. I will get you a copy of it. Yes, I'll get you a signed copy of it, Lily, for sure. Nitin says, what sites can we go to for video clips? Storyblocks.com is a great one. That's the one that I definitely recommend. Let me put that in clips, www.storyblocks.com. Art says just to run. Well, thank you. Thanks for being on. And here's what I want to do. I see tons of people still hanging out. If you've got questions on the actual sales page for Content Marketing Machine, let me put that in here. Get the training and bonuses here. Oops, let me put that in. Okay, boom, special offer. It's in the chat. There's a live chat feature on there as well. So if you have questions for me about the training, let me know. And definitely, there's no risk to you to sign up for the 30-day risk-free version of this. I'm still going to send you the book. I'll still give you the coaching all within that first 30 days because I know what an impact it'll have. So thank you for everyone. Leonard, good question about audio and video editing. I actually cover that in Content Marketing Machine in the course. It really depends if you have a Mac or a PC, but there's several different tools and softwares I'll cover there inside the course for you. So with all that said, here's what I want to do because I know we're running out of time. If you have any more questions, we can do it one-on-one live. Also, I can answer questions here in the webinar section. Dill says, where do you create the sales funnels? I don't use ClickFunnels. I use some different software that I'll explain. Again, I cover it all in Content Marketing Machine. People have great questions. I love it. Oh, I have incoming chats here. So let me dive into those. Awesome. Okay, somebody wants about personal help. And then can you go here and fill out this online application? Somebody is asking for personal. I do offer like done for you as well. So I know somebody's asking about that. Hey, can you create content for me? Create a webinar for me? I do offer that. So let me just let this person know in the live chat. Awesome. Perfect. All right. And I see Sylvia. I will get back to you, Sylvia. Okay. You have a question. Who else has a question? Oh, Pexels.com has videos and pictures. That's a good one, Andrea. I didn't know about that one. Thank you. Good resource. I'll have to check that out. Who else has questions? For a PC, Leonard, if you're editing video, there's some different ones. Audacity is a great editor. It's online. I'll type in the word Audacity.com is a great online audio editor you can download. So Audacity.com for PCs. For Mac, I like GarageBand for audio, and then Final Cut Pro for video edits. What other questions do we have? And I see people. Let's see, we got some live chats cranking. All right, so, okay. All right, so I love it. People are getting in. Okay, who else has questions? Before we wrap up and run out of time, I want to make sure we get those answered here on the webinar. Otherwise, I know some of you are doing live one-on-one chats with me. I'll hang out and do those on the actual Content Marketing Machine page. That's where you can say, hey, can you help me with this or this or this? And we can kind of pivot into other discussions. But I would love to help. And again, for anyone that signs up today for the course, Online Content Marketing Machine, if you do the payment plan, you're getting fired up, free copy, signed, and sent to you. I will inscribe it with whatever you want. And then also half-hour coaching. And if you sign up for the full payment plan for Content Marketing Machine, you get the book plus an hour of help. So with all that said, thank you all so much for being on. We are hitting the top of the hour. Go over. I'll hit the redirect button one more time here just to make sure that you get in because I want to make sure that everyone gets locked in. And let's do this. I'm going to open up the Content Marketing Machine page. And then if you have any other questions, hit me there for live chat. Okay. There's a live chat on there in the bottom corner or in the center. All right. So I will. Okay. Good. Okay. I will be over there answering questions live 101. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad you find this helpful. Take what you learned today and run with it. If you want to fast track it all, just get the online course. I mentioned the bonuses. This is my favorite course, far and away. If you enjoyed what you saw today, if you enjoy my content, this is how you can do it too. Like literally, it's the same thing. And it's really, really fun to share. So with all that said, thanks everybody for being on. I will end the live webinar for now. If you have questions, go over to the Content Marketing Machine page and we'll talk more soon. Thanks everybody. Be well.